We're good. Are we
Mm.
recording? We are live. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on, guys. Me and Paige are really excited to do this. This is kind of like a year end, like it says, gut check, but also just a reflection on how this year has went and doing a very honest look at our business and how we've showed up this year, and then what we would like to do differently in 2026 moving forward. So, kind of, we're going to start it off with some wins because we just want to start it with something positive. So, very short and sweet. If you guys could just either unmute yourselves if you can and share one win that you've had this year, or drop it in the chat of one win, and that could be business, that could be personal development, that could be social media. Like, it doesn't have to be just like a sale. It can genuinely be like something that you are so proud of this year that happened. So let's start with that. And then after we share our wins, we're going to move into kind of the little gut check. We have a list of different things in different areas that we're going to actually get you guys to do a rating on. So we're going to do, is it like a 1 to 5 type of rating?
Yeah, I was thinking 1 to 10, just
1 to 10.
because if if we're being honest with ourselves, there's always room for improvement. So I feel like if you rate yourself high out of 5, then it's kind of like, okay, where's the room for growth? Do you know what I
Got
mean?
it.
So I
Okay.
feel like 10, it gives you a more of a sliding scale, right?
Yes. Okay. I
So
love that. Yeah. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go through. So that is why we got you guys to get your notebooks, and you can write down the thing. Like, we're gonna take our time with it. We're each gonna speak on it. We're just kind of me and Paige are gonna go back and forth, do a little blurb. Like, it's gonna be a short little thing on that. Maybe share our experience of how we think we did, and then you guys can go ahead while we're talking, write it down and rate yourself. Okay. So that's kind of the gist of the call. And then we're going to end with a goal. Paige is going to close us out with a goal that we want to have moving into this new year, 2026. I am so excited. So, Paige, you are first. Go ahead and take it away.
perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna just share a big win of the year, and I want to just talk to you guys a little bit about this to inspire you, because this kind of business can be very up and down and left and right, and you can kind of get into your head a lot with this business. But something that I really want to share with you, just to kind of keep you guys in a sense of, what am I working towards? Why am I doing this? And I know that our why kind of leads us into the direction of where we're meant to go, but the consistency behind the why is so important, because there was a time. So when I first started my business, I literally hit the ground running. I went all the way up to leader within I think it was like my first 5 months into the business. And then I held leader for 9 months. And I was leader in January. Okay. And then I dropped to platinum, and I held platinum for probably another 5 or 6 months. I don't know the exact amount of time, but then I went to gold, like dropped to gold. So I'm telling you guys this so you guys can understand how things work here, right? It's not always just going to be an upward scale all the way to the top. There is going to be seasons where the grit is important. Okay. So if I, once again, in October, I dropped to silver. Okay. And I kicked myself in the butt. How did I go from being leader last October to silver this October? Right. And things happen along the way. Right. I'm saying this to inspire you. Things happen along the way. You're going to lose a really big leader. You're going to have somebody step back. Somebody's going to be going through something. There's going to be things that happen along the way. Right. But what I want to sort of leave you guys with in this is that just because things can go downward doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. And the only way it stays that way is if you don't do anything about it. Okay. So what did I do instead? I did everything I possibly could to get myself back to a better place. So I felt good in my business, because when I was sitting at silver, and unfortunately, when you're used to making leader income and now all of a sudden you're making silver income, it takes a hit. This is my only job, right? This is my only thing that I do, right? So I was like, okay, got to get my big girl pads on, got to get back into the leadership seat. I got to start talking about the opportunity more, because I snoozed on that. And I want this to be something that you guys carry with you into the next year, into the last, you know, 10 days of this month, I want you guys to really think about building a team here. Okay. Because when you're not building a team and you're just focusing on those 5 customer sales every month, that's great and all, but that's only 500 volume right there, right? It sounds like a lot, but so much more can happen if you're hitting your focus on 5 and you're helping someone else hit their focus on 5 and they're helping someone else hit their focus on 5. Like, think about how quickly that 500 turns into 3,000, right? It really does when you're all kind of working as a team for your own goals. And so that's why I want to share with you guys, because I went from silver in October to platinum in November. So I jumped 2 ranks after slowing things down. And it wasn't just like, we were like this, going up like this, and then we stayed stagnant, and then we kind of slowly did this, and then now we're going up again. But what could have happened, you guys? Could I have given up when we were just doing this? Easily, I could have given up and been like, oh, let's go find something shiny and new. Let's go, like go back to work. I'm not making enough money right now. And I'm saying this in a very vulnerable way to you guys because I'm a real person who has real goals here, just like everyone else. And it's going to be like that sometimes where you're going to have seasons of massive growth and you're going to be like, whoa, this is so crazy. And then you're going to have seasons where you're like, hello, my inbox is dry. People are leaving me in the dark. No one's responding to me. And that is all part of business ownership. Okay. So I want you guys to just, honestly, that's my big win of the year, is that I didn't give up. And I want you guys to start, like, just drop it in the chat, please. Think of one thing that you did this year that you're proud of in your business. It can be so small, but something that really just sets you into a direction of like, I am meant for this. This is what I want to do. Because if you're sitting on this call with us right now, you're meant to be here. And never, ever, ever talk yourself out of that. If you're taking the time on a Friday night, we're a week out from Christmas and you're coming here to hang out with us, it's because you want something from this opportunity. And if you want something from this opportunity, it will give you something back as long as you're staying consistent and not giving up on that vision. So I wanted to just share that. And then I feel like we have some people in the chat here, which is fun. Do we want to, maybe Kalea, if you want to give us a little bit of.
Yeah, I will. I dropped it in the chat. But I love what you guys are putting in there. I think, like what's kind of piggybacking off of what Paige said is sometimes it can seem small and insignificant, a win. But those tiny wins along the way of building your business compound into, as you zoom out, you're reflecting on how much you've grown. So yes, maybe you have fallen off completely and you like took a pause on the business because of life or whatever reason. And maybe you showing up here today is like your win, that you're like, okay, actually, I'm ready to reset and restart and relaunch, right? Or maybe it was you showing up during Black Friday and talking about the sale. Like you guys have to reframe in your mind what a win is so that you can actually show a lot of gratitude for what's happening here. Because I think we kind of get caught up with like, well, I didn't make any sales, so like nothing's really happening. But did you have conversations? Did you reach out to somebody that you've been scared to reach out to for a long time? I'm going to share a little win is I have built a relationship with this girl. She's an influencer. For years now, actually. She was with, what's the company? Beauty Counter. And like I had found her back then and kind of was just chatting. I had talked to her about Happy Juice before, like mentioned it a couple of times. And she like gracefully was like, you know what? No, thanks, not for me. Or like send me the ingredients. Actually, no, I'm not interested. Totally fine. I continued to foster that relationship with her. And now fast forward, she's had her 4th. She's like in the thick of it postpartum, dealing with some feeding issues with the baby and then just like stress for herself. And I thought to myself, I was very like hesitant to message her, but I thought to myself, like, what's the worst thing that could happen? She just tells me no again. And I continue my relationship because I didn't feel weird about it, because I had already been building like a relationship with her completely separate from Amari. Like I was genuinely messaging her about the things that she was posting, cheering her on, regardless of what she was doing. And so when I did reach out, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it because remember, guys, what we have here can be a massive gift to somebody else, just the way it was for you when someone shared it with you and how it changed your life. So don't feel icky or weird about offering that to other people, because what if it's the thing that changes their life because of you reaching out and telling them about it, right? So I did. I was like holding my breath while I'm sending this message. I'm like, okay, I have, and I just sent her samples, guys. I was like, you know what? I'm going to like, I don't know, take a loss. I don't even want to call it that because I love sharing and giving samples. But I did. I'm like, I'm going to pack up some samples for you. I have a little something for you that I want to share. I know you're kind of struggling right now, and maybe this could be the little boost that you need, right? No strings attached either, guys. I'm removing like the emotion from the result. Maybe she tries it, doesn't say a lick about it, doesn't even, maybe she doesn't even take them. But me offering that to her was like a big step for me. So that is like, to me, I'm calling it a win. I'm like, look it. I'm just like, who knows where this will go? Maybe it helps her. Maybe she does nothing with it. But I just feel like doing those little things, it's practice for me to get out of my comfort zone and like do a bold ask to somebody or talk to somebody who I like, ugh, really have been like nervous to, or reach out to somebody that I've been wanting to, but like too scared, right? So that's just inspiration for you guys. Like sometimes you just got to take the chance and reach out because you never know. And like, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen on the other side of this, but just the reaching out in and of itself for me is like a huge win. So
I love that.
hopefully that inspires you.
Love. It is inspiring. I love to hear it because we are going to go like honestly straight into this because it unless anyone wants to raise their hands and share something because we did want this to be very interactive as well. If there's any point where you guys want to share, just raise your little virtual hand. We'd love to hear from you. But if you guys have your notebooks ready, we're going to go just like jump right into this because everything that we want you to rate yourselves out of, one being I didn't really focus on that at all this year. 10 being, wow, I really killed that this year. And then 5, where you fit on the scale. And this is just like, you don't have to share this list with anybody, you guys. You don't have to share any of this. If you want to share it in the chat, you can. If there's something that comes up that you feel called to share, we'd love to hear from you. But for the most part, this is just for you guys to check in with yourselves, okay? So I really want you guys to just be really, really mindful and truthful on how you're feeling about everything we're about to talk about. The first thing, and I want you guys to just write it down, please, conversations. Because I have been having a lot of conversations with a lot of you about conversations and about how that all looks for somebody who has maybe been, Kalea's 3 years into the business almost is it Boxing Day or is it in January? Yeah, so coming up on 3 years. I'm 2 years in Amari, 6 years on Instagram, and we really do have a lot of value to share in terms of conversations. And for me, it's never about Amari, you guys. Like, that's something I really want you to understand, that these conversations, we're not talking about cold messages when we say conversations. When we say conversations, we're really talking about, like, are you making friends online? Okay. Are you finding people like you to chat with? Are you responding to stories? Are you getting into the inbox of people? And something that I actually learned from Alyssa is, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can actually pin conversations, which I love. Do you guys know about this feature? So anybody you're having like pretty regular conversations with, not about Amari, just about life, you guys just vibe, you have similar interests, there's things, maybe you have some kids in the same age group, or maybe you have a dog that's the same breed or something like that. Somebody who you're like consistently talking to, have that conversation pinned at the top of your messages. And maybe it's 5 people, but nurture those relationships. Focus on those relationships. Anyone that you're having back and forth who's truly responding to you thoughtfully as well, right? I don't want you guys to just be building these connections for a sale. Please take that out of your head. Honestly, take it right out of your head. You're building connections for friendships and relationships. And I'm going to tell you guys something. So go ahead and rate yourself on how this feels for you right now. But I'm going to tell you that there are people who have joined me in this business who I would have never, ever, 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 ever dreamed would join me in my business. And you know why? Because I fostered amazing conversation and relationships with them over the last 6 years online. And it will be like that. It's people who were doing other things that got sick and tired of what they were doing, saw what I was doing, got curious about what I was doing. There's people who have been, they followed my fitness journey with Body, and then they were like, ooh, I never really wanted to do that, but I've always loved your work ethic and I'd love to work with you over here. But if you're not having those conversations, they're just going to go build the trust elsewhere. I'm being straight up with you. If somebody is active online, they're actively looking to connect. They're actively looking to relate to somebody, right? That's why we doom scroll too. Like, think about it from a viewer's perspective, right? So just make sure you're thinking of it that way and less about like, ooh, this is going to be my next brand partner or my next sale, and more like, wow, this girl's really my type, right? Like, think about your type. Maybe you could even sit down and write down what your type is and like start looking for her and start talking to her and start just building those connections. So if anyone wants to share anything else with that, you're more than welcome to, but just give yourself a little rating, and then you can kind of take sort of some of that wisdom and just bring it into the next 10 days and into the next year.
Amazing. I love that, Paige. And kind of leading into that is our next one. So if everyone is ready, hopefully you guys are ready. Well, we do want to move through these, not quickly, but like efficiently, because again, we want to be mindful of your guys' time. But the next one is going to be content. Okay. So this one is kind of a little more broad. I will say, like, I feel like I've really stepped into content creation in the last, I want to say maybe like 6 months of really how to show up online authentically. And so this is something that I really want you guys to give yourself a rating with. Be completely honest, okay? Like, get brutal with yourself. Because the whole point of this is, if you're going to just like pretend and rate yourself higher than you actually are, like, nothing can change in your business realistically. If you're sitting and wondering why you're not growing and you're not rating yourself accordingly, then there's going to be no growth, right? If you're not being honest. So kind of where I want to go with that is like, are we, again, leading into conversations, but are you engaging with people, like genuinely engaging? Are you finding people online? I think there's been this weird thing of people getting burnt out with social media with regards to their business, and or saying that they're working when they're really just doom scrolling online and calling it work, right? And that is the quickest way to burn yourself out, and also to get kind of lost in like this weird comparison thing where you're watching everybody else show up and you're not doing the showing up. And so then you can kind of get in your mind and get in your head about like, oh, like my business isn't working, or you're like, I'm on my phone all the time and like nothing is converting. And that's the part where I'm saying, are you consuming or are you engaging, right? Be intentional about the time that you want to spend on social media. Yes, this is our business and this is our job. But like, have some stricter boundaries with how you show up online, right? So kind of my favorite thing to do is to set a timer. Set a timer for 10 minutes. And in those 10 minutes, do exactly what you said you were going to do. So if you are engaging, set a timer for 10 minutes and then just do that. Don't just like sit around and like fumble on your phone or get kind of distracted and lost. Go in, find accounts that are in your niche, similar to what Paige was saying, not just Amare related, but like people who you actually vibe with, the community that you're trying to build online. Find those people and engage, follow them, leave meaningful comments on their posts, DM them, watch their stories, like, and I mean this when I say only for 10 minutes. And then as soon as the 10 minutes is up, go and put your phone down and like do something else. Okay. Don't just sit and then continue to scroll leisurely, which, I mean, like, let's be realistic. We all need kind of a minute, but I feel like the line is being blurred a little bit with working and scrolling. And then that's where I have had conversations with people where they're like, man, I'm on my phone way more than I really want to be. And so my first initial question is like, yeah, but what are you doing on your phone? Are you working or are you just scrolling? Okay. And then also, I really want to kind of talk about how you're showing up online with regards to your content. Like, what does your content look like? And would you watch it yourself? Okay. Please be very honest. When you are looking at your content, the content that you are putting out, is it something that you would actually watch and enjoy? Or is it you're just putting it up to put it up? Like, I just got to get something out. I don't like, there's no feeling behind it. There's no really like purpose behind it. So, like, things like your lighting, and now I'm not saying you got to show up online perfectly and aesthetically, because guys, I am not the aesthetic girly. That's not me. You guys can see it's genuinely not my content. But there are some things that I always make sure are in mind. So one is lighting. I always try to have really good lighting. So 9 times out of 10, I'm standing in front of a window. That's the best lighting, I feel like. So that should be really something that you guys are considering when you're showing up. If you're filming something and you see that it's grainy and gritty and dark, I would I would second guess whether you're going to put that out. Okay. Also, the feeling that it's giving people, like what kind of a feeling are you trying to provoke? Now on social media, it's less about aesthetics and more of like a connection and a feeling that you are giving somebody. So is there a feeling behind what you're showing up and doing, behind what you're posting? And then trending audio. Are you making sure that you're finding some trending audio? Now, all of this is like what the gurus tell you to do. I don't want you to stick so closely to it to where it paralyzes you to then not post. Because then I mean, we're doing ourselves a disservice there. That's not the point. The point is to make sure you're checking these boxes and then post the thing, take the action and actually do it. But just keeping those things in mind when you are filming. And I'm telling you, it will get easier and easier the more you have a little checklist of like, okay, lighting is good. Okay, what about my hooks? Where are my words on my screen? Is it like, do I have way too many words? And is the font like really difficult to read? Can people actually read that? Is it too busy? Does it look annoying? Is it too bright? Can they even see the words? Like, those are things that you have to think about, because that actually matters. And like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect, but it has to be something that's easy on the eyes, something that they can actually read, something that they can look at, something that people want to stop and continue to watch, right? They're not just going to scroll past because it's like annoying. And then Paige kind of mentioned this. But the viewer's perspective. So are you putting out content that's less selfish? Okay. And I'm going to kind of expand on this. What I mean is, like, are you focusing on like, yes, we want to share our story, but how does that connect to them? What is the takeaway that they are going to have from it? How can you bridge the gap from your story to how it's going to benefit them? Because really people are looking for solutions for themselves, right? So your story, you can share it in a way that is like, here's my lived experience, and this is how it can help you too, if you're in the exact same position that I am, right? So that's kind of, I feel like that's it. Viewer's perspective, hooks, yeah, video quality. Yeah, and just kind of reflecting on your post. So maybe like give yourself, actually, Chelsea has an incredible Instagram audit that you guys should really go through and do, because it is valuable. And that's like something that it's something that people pay to do, like big money to get people to do. And hers is like top notch. So please, if you have not already, go and do the Instagram audit. Have that be something that year end that you do. Look at your content that you've put out for the year and go through and audit it and see like, where can I make some little tweaks and little things, right?
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Kalea. Yes, I honestly, content queen around here, Kalea. I was like, I know you just did a call on this, but can you just touch on content again? So we are going to go back and forth here. The next one, I want you guys to rate yourselves 1 to 10 for closing. So how many conversations did you actually close this year? How many people like really start to think about this? Because something that I wanted to share, actually, I put it in the chat here, toggle.com. I just want to share this really, really quick. Alyssa actually showed me this. It's a free app. We can do it on power hours and everything. But Kalea mentioned time management. This is actually going to track your time spent on your business. So it's almost like you're clocking in and clocking out. And if you can put yourself on Toggle, again, free, you can put your tasks, everything you need to accomplish on the side. So let's say posting a reel, hopping on stories, getting into your inboxes, give yourself time frames and it will tell you when each time is up and it will tell you how much time you've spent on each task. And why this is important is because it actually shows you how much time you're truly spending on just your business. And so then you can say, okay, how much time am I spending just doing exactly what she was saying, doom scrolling and comparing and everything? As the less you consume, and I said it, Mastaya actually made a post about this today. The less you consume and the more you create, the better you're going to feel about your business. So I really appreciate that, Kalea, and I really think that you guys should check Toggle out. I've been using it and loving it, and it shows you where you're at with your time spent on your business and where you could maybe put a little more time and less time and everything like that. And so with closing, I want you guys to know that people want it when it's hot. Okay. So if somebody's in your inbox being like, hey, I'm ready, send me a link, do not snooze on that link. Something that's very valuable that you must know is it's okay to be annoying when somebody asks you for a link. It's okay to open that message immediately. Don't get scared. Okay. Something that I used to do is I would see the message come in and I would literally wait because I had it in my head that like, ooh, I shouldn't open this message too quickly. Why? They're going to think that I'm so desperate for this sale. Okay, I'm not kidding. This is how I used to think. But something that I've learned along the way is that when someone's ready to buy, they want to buy it right then. Okay, so do not leave them hanging because the moment you leave them hanging, they're going to just get distracted and do everything else. And then you're going to have to follow up with them. And then it's going to have to take time for you to get like, okay, well, now I need to know what kind of flavor you want. And now you need to do the back and forth. But when they're ready to go, do not leave them. If you're sitting there available and someone says, send me a link, open the message and get the information and get the link in their hands. Because I'm sure we're all consumers ourselves. We all buy things ourselves. And when we're ready to go, like get it while it's hot, right? If you have to go looking for your credit card or something, I mean, tell me right now, who has ever put something in their cart and then it's been like, oh, you need like the 3-digit number on the back of your credit card. And you're like, oh, well, my credit card's way on the other side of the house. I don't even want to get up right now to buy this. And then you don't actually buy it. Who's been there before? Hands up. Because I've definitely been there before. And then I always tell myself that it's a sign. I'm like, oh, I just didn't need it anyways. Or I get distracted and I'm like, you know what I mean? So honestly, make sure you're looking at it from their perspective too. Again, flip it around, right? Would you want to tell somebody that you're ready to buy and then them just like not respond to you for a couple of hours, right? Well, what if now I'm busy and now I'm not even thinking about it and now I'm going to need to message you tomorrow to talk about it, right? So just try your best to hop on that when it's available and just give yourself a rating there. How many times did you actually, when somebody messaged you, you sent the link and they clicked purchase? It's okay if this number is low. There's always room for improvement, okay? But these are things that have helped me and it takes time to learn these skills, right? So I just wanted to share that piece, give yourself a little rating, and then we can kind of move forward.
I love that, Paige. It's true. And this is, don't confuse this with like living your life and being busy with your actual life and not responding to people. We're talking about like when you are working and when you are on your phone and you see a message come in, respond. Don't leave people hanging.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, love that. Okay, next up is follow-ups, you guys. And this one, I am going to be completely transparent. I dropped the ball on this probably the most in my business. And that's just, I don't know what it is. I think I still have this idea, Georgia. I still have this idea in my mind that I don't want to be annoying. Okay. But here's the thing, you guys, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying, is we are giving somebody a gift, and it's actually It's our job to follow up with them. If they have shown interest, exactly like what Paige is talking about with the closing, if they have shown interest and asked you for more information, it is your job to follow up with them. It's not their job. Guys, we are in the sales industry. So don't get it twisted and think like, I'm going to be too salesy. No, you are in sales. You are selling something to them and they are wanting to purchase something from you. So give them the information and follow up. This goes with potentials. This also goes with current customers. You guys, if you are wanting to build a sustainable business that pays you residual income, you have to be taking care of your customers and following up with them. Don't wait for them to turn off their subscribe and save and then you go like, oh my gosh, why did they turn it off? Let me go and follow up. You should be following up with your customers minimum. Okay, guys, this is minimum once a month. And that is like the very bare minimum. In fact, I think that's like, it's too late to do that. I would follow up. You can do follow up Fridays. I love having that one. It just sounds really nice. It keeps it easy for you. It's very simple. Follow up Fridays. And again, set a timer. I'm going to follow up for 10 minutes with people, potentials, current customers, and my brand partners. You should be just checking in. It doesn't have to be like annoying and badgering, but sometimes you taking the initiative to follow up with your customer, they could be sitting and being like, I really hate this flavor, but I'm like way too scared to say anything. And they don't. And then they're just waiting and waiting to get the reminder that their subscribe and save is coming and they turn it off. And they're like, nah, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just turning this off. She hasn't checked in with me, whatever. I actually have had my most recent customer come over to me, purchase from me. She purchased from somebody else a while ago, an influencer, and her biggest complaint was they didn't follow up with me. She said, I felt like I really wasn't having support there. I had a couple questions and I would get like no answer or it would be crickets for a while and I didn't even know. So I just want to stress to you guys how important it is to take care of your customers, continue to follow up with people, like serve the people who are already at your table. I know we all want a new sale. We want our focus on 5, but the real true way to build a long lasting business that continues to pay you month over month is taking care of the people you already have. Okay. So it could be something as simple as like a, hey, how are you doing this week? How was your weekend? Just however you want to do it, but just to make sure you're checking in with your people. And what that actually does is, one, when you're checking in, you're doing good customer service, but also if they give you a little review, like, hey, I'm actually loving my Happy Juice. I didn't nap today. And I like that never happens for me. Or man, I slept like a rock last night. That is social proof for you and your business that you can then take and put on social media or talk about. It's proof for you that you are having success, not just yourself, but people who are buying from you are having success. People are seeing results from these products. So the following up is like a twofold. It's a win for the customer because they feel taken care of, but it's also a win for you because now you have a testimonial that you can share. Okay. And then as far as brand partners go, I think that is like just a no-brainer that you want to foster community with your team, and following up is a great way to do that. Checking in with your people. Sometimes we just need a little boost, a little pep talk. Lauren, I'm looking at you, girl. I'm going to call you out. Sometimes you just need a little thing to get out of your own head, and a voice note from your mentor could be the thing that gives you the little kick in the butt, right? It's okay. Voice notes are my favorite. So if you guys are like, that's a lot of following up to do, or maybe you have a lot of customers and you're like, okay, girl, when am I going to do that? Voice notes. Voice notes are my best friend. Just a quick little, hey, just checking in, wanted to see how you're doing. Are you loving the flavor of your Happy Juice? Did you want to try something new this month? Like something as simple as that. Takes you 2 seconds to send, but you are taking care of your customers. And then with your potentials as well, same thing. Checking in with them before a sale, checking in with them just to see if they're interested. Like you should be consistently doing that. I mean, 100% when a sale comes up, you should be following up with all of your leads. But even before then, I would check in with those people. And like Paige said earlier, continue having the conversations. Maybe you checked in with them and it's not even about tomorrow. It's like, wait, how are you doing? Like, are you busy this season? Like, are you ready? Like whatever it is, right? Just keep that following up. Just keep it in the routine so that it's something that you're doing consistently.
Absolutely. Well, I always say that following up, there's fortune in it, right? Like Chelsea followed up with me, you guys, for 6 months before I bought Happy Juice and before I became a brand partner, like never stop unless somebody tells you to leave them alone. Like, I don't want what you're selling. Leave me alone. Keep going. If they've ever shown interest, keep going with it. Just keep fostering that. Keep telling them when there's a sale. I agree. I agree. It's very important. And I feel like we could all, like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to rate myself that probably a 6. I feel like I could be much better at following up. So just be honest with yourself because I feel like all the things we're sharing here tonight, you guys, are all the things that we have found over the last 2-3 years that have made the most sense to us in moving the needle in our business. So we just hope that when you're looking at this and you're seeing how where you are voting yourself on these things, like where you need to improve, right? Where you could maybe put a little more energy and focus. My next one is stories. So stories. Everyone loves them. Everyone hates them. The reason why people hate them is because you're always going to get lower views on stories. I need you guys to understand this. You can post a reel and it will do well and it can take off. It'll always be a lower number on stories. Okay. Even if I have an influencer friend and she'll get like 1,000 views on her stories, sometimes 3,000 views on her stories, and then she'll always get like 10K to 15K to 20K views on her reels. Like it's never going to look the same. But people are in your stories getting to know you. Okay. So in your reels, your personality kind of shines through in your reels. In your stories, you're really, really fostering those connections. The people I've connected with the most on Instagram are the people who talk on their stories. And they're not just talking about Amari. Like this is something I want you guys to be so very clear about. They're talking about what they're up to. They're coming for advice. They're asking questions about random things. They're sprinkling in Amari or whatever it is they're selling. They're showing up with what, and some people don't share their kids, and that's totally fine. But show the back of their heads, show them doing an activity, show them at the park. You know, you don't have to show too much of where you guys are doing or what you're up to still show that your kids exist in your life and everything. Even their hands. You can do their hands and they're coloring at a table. Oh, I found this amazing activity, right? The elf on the shelf, if you're doing elf on the shelf, sharing the little elf on the shelf things that you guys are doing, right? These are all things for you that it's kind of like, okay, it's just a little more than just Amari. You do not want to be a walking Amari ad, right? You really want to be somebody who, like, would you want to follow you? Be realistic. Would you want to follow you with how you show up on your stories, how you show up in your content? Then who is going to want to follow you? If you don't even feel like you have anything interesting to share, right? It doesn't matter if you're interesting, you guys. Get that out of your mindset. There are so many, especially moms in this industry, there's so many moms that just sit at home all day and want to connect with people. They are like craving that. They're craving that connection, that community, that feeling that somebody else knows them and feels them, right? That Me Too moment. So if you're on your stories, and I'm gonna shout out my girl Alyssa because she was on her stories today talking about mom rage, and she was so insanely uncomfortable talking about how she actually admitted on her stories today she used to not like being a mom. She used to not enjoy it. And you know how hard that is to like admit on a public platform like that? That is a very hard thing to admit. But you know how many people are probably thinking, oh my God, it's not just me. It's not just me that feels that way. Because everyone else out here is dancing around the fact that it's hard, that motherhood is hard, right? And I'm saying this because there's going to be things that you might not want to share, but it's probably important you do, right? And this is when you're going to make your bigger, more strong, committed customer sales, is when you're getting a little more vulnerable about your story and your why and why are you still drinking that thing 2 years later? Honestly, why are you still drinking it 2 years later, right? So this is going to help with you guys, and just sharing those highs, the lows, and everything in between. Stories are where you're building your connections and your relationships. You have no idea how many people. So people always say, "Oh, no one's watching my stories." You know, I hear this all the time from some of the girls on my team, like, "No one's watching my stories," and I'm saying, like, how many people are getting to that last story? You know, you can talk maybe 5 slides. Who is sitting at that last story? Because you know what that means, right? Even if the number is just 10 people, that's 10 people that wanted to hear what you had to say, right? That's 10 people that stayed the long haul all the way to the end and didn't exit out of your story. That's 10 people that you can be reaching out and trying to connect with. Maybe not about the products, but just in general. Those are the people that are sitting at your table. Okay? Don't look at that number and be like, "Only 10." It's like, imagine if 10 people were sitting at your table in front of you right now. Would you really be looking at them being like, "There's only 10 of you here"? No, you'd be like, "How can I serve you? What can I get you? Can I get you a drink?" You know, you're serving your people that are actually there. So serve them well, right? Give them something exciting. Talk about fun things. Have fun with it. Don't make it, instead of looking at it like, "Oh, I have to jump on my stories today and make my happy juice." You're like, "I get to jump on my stories today, make my happy juice, connect with people, help them get set up with this." If you just tweak it just a little bit, you guys, people will feel that energy from you. I promise. So give yourself a rating, and we can kind of move forward.
That was so good, Paige. A point I want to make too, just adding, is like saying I have to get on stories. Guys, sometimes that it is how I feel, and I'm still on my stories. And do you know what I do? I just put mute the clip, I put music over it, and I put a couple words over it. And boom, there you go. Like it doesn't have to be, there's a way that you can show up on your stories without actually showing up on your stories. Does that make sense? Like if you were sitting looking like hot garbage, find a picture.
Totally.
You know how many times I find a random picture, a nice picture of myself. I have it in my favorites. Favorites, I put a little overlay on the screen and I put some words. It took me 2 seconds to do that. And I don't actually have to
Mhm.
show what I'm looking like right now if I'm feeling terrible. Okay. So it's so good. Okay. Next up is something that is, I think we really need to jump on for the last bit, is the opportunity. Okay. So we have free brand partner to the end of the month. And I really, really would like you guys to get intentional about talking about the opportunity in your stories, making carousel posts about it, and making reels about it. Brody just did a training on one of our Tuesday calls. I think it was the last one. And he said, if you are not talking about the opportunity 3 to 5 times a week, you're not talking about it enough.
Mhm.
So be very realistic. I was just like, oh, 3 to 5 times a week, like even myself. And I feel like I do a really good job of talking about the business, but I'm like, oh, there are some times where I'm not talking about it 3 to 5 times a week. Like maybe I've mentioned it once that week in
Mhm.
some form, whether that's a reel, a carousel, or on my stories. So, like when you're rating yourself with this part, be honest, okay? If you are here to build a business and you are looking for brand partners, because everyone starts this business, maybe you are like, nah, I'm just doing affiliate. That's totally fine too. Or you're like, I just want to get my 5 for 5. That's fine, right? Like everyone's goals here for their business is different. But if you are someone who wants to build a business, you have to be talking about the opportunity, because how will people know that this is available to them if you don't talk about it? If you're too shy, if you don't want to be salesy, if you don't want to be, I don't want to be icky. There's a way that you can make it fun. Like share these things. There's ways that you can talk about the business that's not just like, hey, join my team. It's like Tuesday team calls. Man, the testimonials are my most favorite part. I love that there's so many different types of people in this business that are having success here. Boom, that's a way to talk about the business. One slide. Okay. Or the trainings that we have, or the community that we have in our team chats. Show like all of the messages of people saying welcome when somebody comes in. Look at how many people welcome us. Like, come sit at this table. There's so much room here for you. Something like that. Like, there are ways that you can talk about this business without making it feel weird. And let's just be very honest, guys. It's 2025, almost 2026. So many people are looking to supplement their income right now. They are looking to supplement their income. And if you are not talking about what we have to offer here, they're going to find it somewhere else. So you're doing yourself a huge disservice by not talking about the opportunity. Guys, our focus on five, that is not done anywhere else. No other company has that. Do you guys understand how crazy that is? It's almost 100% payout on your first five customers. It's the reason I was like, yup, I'm doing this business. I came from a previous company that I was with for a very short amount of time. And do you want to know how many people I had to talk to make $500? It was like 15 people. And there was a stipulation that some of them had to be business partners as well. So I want to say it was like 3 to 5 people had to be doing the business with me. Do you guys understand that we don't have that stipulation? It can be a mix of just customers, it can be just brand partners, it can be a mix of both. That's crazy. And then now they've updated the comp plan to one, our payouts for our commissions are bigger. And the focus on five doesn't have to be 100 PV anymore. Do you guys know that? It can be smaller packs. So say you're really like giving her on kids mood. You're like, no, I need to talk about kids mood more. You can sell a bunch of kids mood and get your focus on five. Or you can sell a bunch of the sunrise and get your focus on five. Or just edge you're focusing on, or just like single products. Maybe it's the protein that you talk about a lot. Maybe you love the electrolytes. These are things that they have gifted to us as brand partners, adjusting the comp plan so that we get more money in our pockets. That does not happen in companies. In fact, they are doing the opposite right now. They are taking opportunities away from their brand partners. So we have the focus on five. We've got that new stipulation. We've got the higher commissions. We also have it way easier to earn the trip this year. Do you guys know? It's like cut in half of earning the trip. That's crazy. So these are all these things. There's so many different avenues and ways you can be talking about the business that doesn't feel weird or salesy or join my team type of vibe, because I know that kind of turns people off. But share things that you are doing in this business. Share what it's paying for. Like, did it pay for your gas this week? Share that. Did it pay for your groceries this week? Share that. That's what most people are looking for. They're looking to supplement, like they're looking to pay a bill. They're looking to pay for going out to dinner with their family. They're looking to pay for groceries, those small things. And if you are talking about it, then it seems more realistic for them to actually have that happen for themselves. So pretty sure that's it. Yeah, that's what I got.
Love it. I love it. I also wanted to mention, you guys, that if somebody joins you in December and if they hit the ground running and they hit their focus on five in December, there is $750 USD on the table for them because they have the momentum on five, a momentum of five. If they join in December, they get an extra $250 just for hitting their focus on five. They're also going to get the new weight loss product. This is something you guys need to be talking about when you're talking about the opportunity. So not only are we giving you a free business account and then you're going to fall in love with these products, but you can also earn $750 USD, which works out to probably 1,300 Canadian, I want to say, with the exchange. That's huge right there. And then also the weight loss product. Like, we're going into January and you're going to get a free 1 month supply of a weight loss product. New innovation. I don't know if you guys saw Ainsley's stories today, but she put a little tidbit on what's to come with that weight loss product. And I'm excited about this. It's going to be so different to just have that be a part of our scope as well. So I wanted to remind you guys that it is free all the way up till the end of the month. And those are things that will entice someone into the business. That it's free to join and there's extra bonuses on the table and free product. Like, I mean, that sounds pretty cool to me. If I was listening to somebody talk to me about that and I was looking for an opportunity, I'd be asking questions for sure. Okay. So just think about that as well when you're because we have some time before the month ends here and it is on all month. So we don't usually do that, which I love. And then I want to just talk about you guys rating yourself about calls and trainings and getting on calls. You guys can give yourself at least a 3 for being here tonight. If you feel like you could maybe be better at jumping on calls, be honest with yourself. The things that I want to say though is Beck's call is the most important one. Okay, so if you have a different type of schedule where that time of day doesn't work, something I used to do in my previous business is we would actually host Zooms together. We would share a screen and we would watch a recording together. So if, let's say, lots of people work full time and they can't make Beck's call work, well, if you get a good group of you and you can all find a time where you can get on a call, maybe it's not Tuesday, maybe it's Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern or something, where everyone can get on the call who doesn't get that call. I'm telling you, you guys, it is so much more fun to do it with somebody else. First of all, it's holding you accountable to actually watching the call. Second of all, you're going to have the chat on the side, so it's going to feel like you're watching it live because you're going to be able to interact with the people on the call with you. I strongly recommend, if that call time doesn't work for you guys to create a group that will allow you to do that. Because if that's what's holding you back, is that like there's no one to show that you've actually watched it, this is a great way for you guys to just do that and not take that barrier away of like, oh well, it's not when I'm not available at that time. Well, who cares? Find a time that actually works and watch the call. We also have the one corporate call that they do at the beginning-ish of every month. That one's super important too, because they talk about the promotions for the month. They talk about who promoted the month before. They give you kind of a rough idea of what's to come this month. And they've even been telling us when promos are hitting, which I love. It gives us like a little bit more of like, okay, how's this month going to go? They told us that we'd have a mid-month promo, which we did. And then they told us we'll have a Boxing Day promo. I love that. I love that it sets us up and prepares us for all of our conversations, and the people who are asking questions and saying like, do you know when the next sale is? You kind of do like, oh, I do know that there's going to be a sale on the 26th, right? Let me check in with you then. Okay. So those, I feel like Beck's call, that call, and then like anything that the Happy Collective is doing, like the Steph and Kalea call. I feel like this one's pretty valuable too, just for like different things that you can be thinking about and how you can be looking at, what I want you guys to do is just look at it and be like, okay, next year, I'm going to take all of this and just like start implementing a little bit more of it, right? Take the secret sauce and put it into action. But I just feel like calls are so, so important. I know for me, if I'm not getting on enough calls, my business mindset starts to slip, right? I start to not really think about things the way I should. So I actually need the calls myself to kind of hold me accountable to my vision and my goals and everything else, right? So, oh, Sydney's saying, I loved those live rewatches. Such a good idea. Yeah, I honestly think it's really helpful, you guys, to, like hold each other accountable to watch a recording together. I used to have a lot of fun with that. Do you remember, Sydney, the national wake up call that they do every Monday? We would actually do like watch parties for that because it was just like a live online one. And we would do watch parties for that. And we'd all get on a Zoom link together and the chat would be bumping and we would just be having our own like chat party during the whole thing. So yeah, it's actually a lot of fun to do that. And if you can get a good enough group together of people that want to watch the call back with you, it's really fun. So anyways, I don't know where Kalea went, but I maybe can just keep going because we are at the 1 hour mark here and I just want to get through everything. The next one we were going to talk about was sharing testimonials. So that's social proof, right? How often are you sharing a testimonial? And if you don't have a testimonial to share, are you going into the future of mental wellness? Are you taking screenshots of other people's testimonials? Are you sharing them? Has somebody told you something that's happened? Like I have a girl that was on the Happy Fit pack and she's lost 15 pounds on the Happy Fit pack. Like, why would I not share that? Why would I not shout that from the rooftops to anyone who can hear it that like, it's not just me that lost 15 pounds on the Happy Fit pack. Somebody else did too, right? How many more people are going to trust me and what I'm saying about the Happy Fit pack? Because I could just be blowing smoke, right? I could just be saying that. But the fact that there's somebody who's actually lost the same amount of weight in the same amount of time as me, like sharing that also shares like that trust with everyone. Like I'm building that trust. Like she trusted me because of my results. And now look, she's getting the same results, right? It's the same with the happy juice. You can share all day that it's helping you with your anxious feelings and your stress and all of this. But like the moment somebody else tells you that, you should share that. Don't shy away from sharing somebody else's testimonials. And how often are you doing it? Kalea, I kind of stole your I stole your topic here. But also something that I would highly recommend is having a highlight for that. So anytime you share a testimonial on your story, make sure you add it to like a highlight bubble so that if somebody's coming to your page and they see that bubble and it's always getting updated, they're going to click on your bubbles. I don't know how many people go to some other person's page and when they're trying to figure out whether they're going to follow them or not, I immediately go to their highlights and I'm like, okay, what's this girl all about? Who is she? And if there's a bunch of amazing testimonials there, like why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just keep adding to it and multiplying? And the thing about highlights is every time you add a new highlight to that bubble, it bumps it to the front of your highlights, right? So it's like the first one that people will see. So making sure to keep them updated is also very helpful as well. But yeah, just give yourself a quick rating. How often are you doing that? You know, I could be doing more of that myself. So I feel like it's just a nice reminder of that. Oh, Shannon said, do not worry about the time unless you're worried about Zoom booting us all out. Okay. I'm glad that you guys aren't too pressed for time. I just don't want to take up too much of your Friday evening, but we are almost done. And I think Kalea is just dealing with momhood stuff. So I am just going to keep going here because the next one is very similar, but it's just a little bit different. So there is a difference here, okay? So sharing a testimonial is different than sharing a win. So this is a brand partner win. How often are you sharing somebody else in the business doing well, right? This is very important, you guys, because when people are looking at your opportunity and there's silence on the end of like, okay, so let's just put it like this. If somebody is watching Kalea and I, right? And I'm constantly sharing that, you know, my new brand partner just got her first sale. One of my brand partners just got her power of one, you know, another brand partner just got her focus on 5. Ooh, my other brand partner just got her momentum of 5, you know. So what if I'm sharing all of this, you know, not maybe every day, but just over time in the month, I'm sharing this and things are happening on Kalea's team and she's not sharing it. And somebody is following both of us, right? Who do you think they're going to want to work with? Be honest, right? The reason why I share it like that is because people want to see that your team's doing something. And even if it's not specifically your person, but it's like a sideline sister that just promoted or one of your besties in the business that just got her focus on 5, honestly, share it. Why not? They're going to love the attention because they worked hard for that rank. They worked hard for that bonus. Why can't you share it? And it's just a whole big piece of our community that I feel like people shy away from sharing what other people are doing well with in their business because they think it takes something away from them. It doesn't. In fact, it adds something to your business to be sharing that other people are doing well in this, right? Can anyone agree with that? What you ladies are talking about is important. This call is fire and worth our time. Thank you so much thank you so much. That's so sweet. No, I just want you guys to think about it like that, right? Like when there are people out there, as much as you don't think there's people out there are people out there who have been maybe, and I give you guys this example because it was my life, okay? I was a stay-at-home mom that was also building another business. I was cleaning other people's toilets. I was watching other people's kids, and I was looking for another job. Like on top of everything else I was doing, I was also on the hunt for another position of some kind to bring in more money. Okay. There are people out there looking for opportunities. And if you're not presenting the opportunity, they are going to go find somebody who is. So just remind yourself of that. We're in a day and age where like it's not weird to work online. It's not weird to sell products. It's not weird to post content. What's weirder is to have these amazing supplements and this incredible opportunity and not share it. It's almost weirder to not do it, right? So I hope that that's helpful in that respect. And just like, yeah, again, think about it and just think, what could I be sharing more of in terms of wins, in terms of my own wins? Like, it's okay to toot your own horn. Santi's really good at this. Santi will say, like, guess what, you guys? I'm one sale away from my momentum of 5. I'm about to hit another $1,000 bonus. I've now earned 2 free products. Like, why not toot your own horn? It takes hard work to get those things. Why can't you share about it? Right? So make sure, and even because Alexis, I saw that she put in the chat that she's having a hard time with the small wins. Maybe making it a habit to be proud of yourself for those small wins is going to help too. Because honestly, until you have the small ones, the big ones won't even come. They won't, because you're not even giving yourself a chance to get to the big wins. And this is for everyone. I'm telling you, I've been there too, where I'm like, oh, nothing's happening. What am I doing wrong? Everyone's ghosting me. But honestly, if you stay stuck in that mentality, that's exactly what you'll attract. Inconsistent people who ghost you. But if you keep going with it and say, like, oh, well, there's somebody out there who just responded to my story, and oh my goodness, I just met somebody at the gym and she really vibed with me and now she follows me on Instagram. Like, that is a win. Somebody just asked me for samples. That's a massive win, you guys. When I was first starting out with Amare, I was selling samples like hotcakes. And I was hitting my focus on 5 every single month doing it that way. Because even if I gave out 10 samples, I could easily close 5 of those people. Because you ask the questions. You don't just send the samples and be like, oh, well, I hope they respond to me or I hope they message me. You do the follow-up. You say, hey, like, did the samples come? Did you get a chance to try them? Which flavor did you like the most? How did you sleep last night? I personally slept like a baby the first time I tried these supplements. I hadn't slept that good in years. Giving them things to think about, because they probably won't even notice unless you say it. You know how many people I've asked, how did you sleep last night, when they've had their first happy juice? And they say, you know what? Come to think about it, I had the best sleep I've had in a while. They wouldn't even think about it unless you asked, right? So keep that in mind for sure. Kalea did text me. I don't know what she said. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Kalea saying that Georgia is on one right now. So I'm going to close this out for us because we're almost done here. The other one, and this kind of all ties into it anyways, but just to give yourself a little rating on the mindset piece. How often are you guys listening to podcasts, reading personal development books, journaling? Like, what are you feeding yourself? Because I'm telling you, if you're not feeding yourself the right things, if you're binge watching Netflix, if you're not listening to podcasts, like, I love to get on my walking pad and listen to a podcast. Do you know how much easier it would be to just be like, I'll watch a show. I'll just get on this thing and I'll watch that episode I've been meaning to watch. Like, it's so much easier to do that, you guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm the same. I'd rather watch a show. I would rather sit and scroll than open up a book. I actually have to hold myself accountable to that. I actually have to say, okay, you know what? I'm setting my alarm 15 minutes earlier tomorrow. I'm getting up before the kids and I'm sitting down and I'm writing out a gratitude list. Do you know how much different my day is if I take that 15 minutes to myself before anyone is awake to bother me and I just simply write out a gratitude list? Honestly, it's insane how different it is. My entire day is different because of that. So just like those little things that you could be doing to just set the tone and give you ideas. Like, one thing I find with personal development books, you guys, if you're struggling with your content, read a personal development book, because things will start just firing in your brain. You're going to read something and you're going to relate to it and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I have this perfect reel idea. If you're really struggling with putting out content right now, it's probably because your mindset is lacking and you're not doing enough personal development just on the reel. It really does